for stopping by my channel today. I am very excited to chat with you today about mascaras because mascaras are probably one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite, beauty product. I am very grateful to have been born with already long lashes, but I do love making them even longer. But I am also particularly interested in volumizing them because I do have such big eyes and long and wide eyes. I don't have enough lashes to fill in, and I don't want to use false lashes because I don't want to ruin the really nice long lashes that I already have, so I tend to stay away from false lashes. But I'm definitely always interested in volumizing them because that is something I am distinctly lacking. And so, also I feel like our eyes and our lashes are pretty important because when you talk to other people and you're trying to make a first impression or trying to convince them to do something for you, you're typically looking each other in the eye. And this is why mascara, I feel, is a very valuable tool. And so, as per the title of the video, what I wanted to talk to you about today was what I consider to be one of, and I'm not alone, one of the best drugstore mascaras that I have come across. I have bought and used a lot of mascaras because, like I said, it's like my favorite beauty tool. Well, it is a tool within a product. I recently posted on Instagram a photo, pardon me, of just some of my happy and favorite mascaras. And this is only like the tip of the iceberg. And I know you're supposed to dispose of them after, I believe it's like about 6 months. And that makes sense to me for eye safety. But that doesn't mean that I don't like to look at them. And I think they look really cute in this exceptionally large mug. And so that being said, I have tried a number of mascaras, both high-end and drugstore. And the one that I'm talking about from the drugstore also happens to be virtually a spot-on dupe for one of the higher-end mascaras. So if you want to see my thoughts on what I think is one of the best drugstore mascaras out there, then just keep watching. So what I'm talking about today is by L'Oreal. It is the Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara, and very distinctly and very clearly, it looks pretty much exactly like the Better Than Sex mascara by Too Faced. And so the Better Than Sex mascara by Too Faced really is one of the better mascaras that you have to choose from. I have a quick story about the Better Than Sex mascara. It is literally one of the top selling, if not the top selling mascara at Sephora. And when I worked there, whenever someone would come in and say, hey, can you recommend a mascara? I would by default typically refer to this at least, 80% of the time. And so there was this one day, this mom comes in, she's got her teenage daughter with her, and she's like, so we're here to pick out a mascara for my daughter. She didn't actually talk like that, but she is for the purposes of this story because it makes me look even more like an ass. And she's like, so can you recommend a really good mascara for her? And I'm like, yes. I was so stuck on talking about the Too Faced Better Than Sex that I said to her, yes, you absolutely have to have her try the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And honestly, she deadpanned me and she's like, really? I'm going to give my 17-year-old daughter a mascara that's called Better Than Sex? And I was like, oh my God. Anyway, on to the comparison. Now, L'Oreal definitely is my favorite mascara brand at the drugstore. And so they came out with this Lash Paradise one. And what made me excited about it is that it is a volumizing mascara. Volumizing mascaras from the drugstore, actually volumizing mascaras in general, they're hard to come up with a really good one. And the reason for that is when you're volumizing, you're applying more mascara at one time. And so what often winds up happening is that you run the risk of clumping or of just applying too much so that it is not evenly distributed. And so you also have to rely on the design of the wand and the design of the brush in combination with the design of the actual mascara product. And so those two things definitely have to come together. Otherwise, you'll either wind up with clumpy lashes or just wickedly awful looking lashes. But anyway, back to being a comparison. Both of them are in like frosted pink metallic cases, although the Better Than Sex one is quite a bit larger. They also even share a very similar brush, despite the fact that the two packages are different sizes. They are the type of brush where they kind of bell out at the bottom. So they're not straight. They're not a straight line up and down. And in fact, what's interesting is that even though the packaging is different in size, did you see me like go cross-eyed there for a second? Even though the packaging is different, the size of the wands and the length of the brush at the tip is basically the same. The one from Better Than Sex has a little bit more like curviness to it, but honestly, at the end of the day, I think it winds up being irrelevant. They are still not straight brushes. They are both the fiber tip brushes versus the plastic tip brushes and wands that some other mascaras have, and they are virtually the same. So we've got the packaging is the same, the wand is the same. The formula I find to be almost the same. This particular formula happens to be a little bit more like a little bit more pasty versus being wet. This is definitely not a wet mascara, but the beauty of the Lash Paradise is that whatever they've done to the formula, it allows you to deposit more product because it is a volumizing mascara without running the risk of clumps. I mean, yeah, you got to be careful and they will show up kind of intermittently, but you know the difference between a clumpy mascara and a non-clumpy mascara. And so this Lash Paradise one is pretty phenomenal for that reason, because I do not find that it's giving me clumps, yet at the same time, it is giving me tremendous volume. It is in fact the only mascara I am wearing today. And I've said before in the past, and I'll just remind you or tell anybody who's new today, that I typically will go in with a lengthening mascara and then a volumizing mascara, because I don't feel like there are mascaras out there that can accomplish both. The Lash Paradise actually does accomplish both, and I'm not forced to use two mascaras to get my ideal lash situation going on. And so this one, not only does it volumize, but maybe it's the consistency of the formula. It does allow me to lengthen my lashes as well, and it is one of the few mascaras that I do not require two different mascaras in order to do my look in the morning. By comparison, even though I mentioned at the beginning that the two tubes were distinctly different in size, as it turns out, they are exactly the same amount of product. Almost a third of an ounce. 0.27 and 0.28 are the two different sizes for both of these. Even though Better Than Sex is kind of bragging that they're a little bit bigger. The Lash Paradise is only $9.99, whereas the Better Than Sex mascara is $23. And so it's like less than half again as much. And so do I think that the Lash Paradise is absolutely the best mascara at the drugstore? I'm not committing to anything. Do I think that it's one of the best? Absolutely. The amount of product you get for the pricing and the amount of performance that you get out of this mascara, hands down outranks quite a few other mascaras at the drugstore. I'm not committing to saying that it's the best, because I think that you have your lashes require different things. And so some people need length, some people need volume. But when it comes to an all-around really good formula, really good brush and wand, really good application, the Lash Paradise kind of actually is. So what do you think of this new mascara? What do you think of the Better Than Sex by comparison? Do you think that it's a dupe? Do you think one is better than the other? Please leave me a comment down below. I always appreciate that. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. If you liked this video and learned a little something, please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you're not one of my subscribers, I invite you to be one of my subscribers, because that would be my pleasure. Again, like I said, thanks again for spending your time with me. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. In the meantime, thanks.
I have to do that whole thing over again because there is a piece of tomato stuck in my teeth. Oh, it's awful. I don't think you can see it. It's nasty. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to hope that initial footage, you totally can't see it. And if I've got this in my bloopers right now, you're totally going to go back to the beginning of the video to see if you can see it. Oh my god, it's awful. I mean, honestly, Better Than Sex? What else could possibly be better than sex? Oh my god, I totally went there. Anyway,